Hello guys, welcome to my channel, and today is my first face reveal video, so I'm a little bit nervous about it. I read a lot of advices like please don't be nervous, just pretend like you're talking to your friends, but there is no any human being here, only me, camera, text over there, text here, and if I could print it here, trust me, I would. So, today I want to talk about 10 art style challenge, which is very popular among artists. It is challenge when you draw your character in your own style and then draw it in another styles. So I picked my character Adalia for it, but first I faced trouble. There are not many styles which I like, and if I want to draw something in another style, at least I want to be familiar with this style on this show. And so I just took this small notebook and make a research about styles which I can try. And of course, first one is Sailor Moon, because Sailor Moon is the TV show which I saw in my childhood, and my art journey started with this show. And of course, Disney, classical Disney movies are very beautiful, and I want to try to draw my character in that style too. Next one is the style of Webtoon Lore Olympus, which is very colorful and beautiful, and I just want to try it also. And the style of Husband Hotel, it's a TV animated show about demons, and my comics it's also about demons, so I just want to try to draw my demon girl in another style of demons. Another styles which I want to try are listed here, and my patrons will help me to choose among them. It is Animal Crossing, Simpson, Tim Burton, My Little Pony, Adventure Times, Studio Ghibli, Gravity Falls, and Gorillaz, if you know that music group, and Loish art style. So I just make a poll about styles which my patrons can choose, and I will draw the one they choose. So let's start with Johnny.
I will start with my own style, but I'm so used to it that I don't know even how to describe it. It is influenced by anime, comics and modern artists, and it's constantly evolving and changing. I can compare works from different years and they usually don't look same. What can I say? Sometimes even the characters are not very similar to themselves in different frames of my comics. Oops. Do I have the same face syndrome? Yeah. Am I ashamed of it? Nope. More precisely, I would say that I have several types of faces that I mainly use and love deeply. So, I choose one of the main characters in the Pandemonium comics, Adalia. She's so cute and charming. Even it seems that this is some more adult version of her, judging by the size of your boobs. Perhaps it's worth telling her story, short story of course. She is poor blood demon, but she did not spend her childhood in hell. Here in Pandemonium she eventually met her best friend Vlad, and here the main events of their story will take place. Adalia is interested in botany, which is very unusual for demons. Her friends and family support her passion, and she has not faced some kind of bullying yet. But I'm afraid she will have to face some brutal realities sooner or later, unfortunately for her. Oh, it will be very interesting to draw her in different styles. I hope you will enjoy the process with me. The next style is Sailor Moon TV show, and there will be the small story first. Far, far away in distant galaxy. Oh no, joking. Back in 1995, my neighborhood upstairs called me and told me to tune on TV on the weekend morning. She said there is a cool new series about magical girls and that I would love it. There are turning points in our life, and so I think that day was such a point. Before that day, I was a huge fan of My Little Pony, and I drew hundreds of ponies, really. But after that day, I switched to Sailor Warriors. First, I drew all Sailor Senshis, and villains of course, and after I started to create my own Senshis. I bet many of you were on my place. Today I ravaged my cellars and found an old drawing. Please enjoy. I know it's terrible, but oh my god, I was a kid, okay? Know what? Now my mother was, oh my, their eyes are so huge, they are half of their face's size, has finally reached me. The eyes are really huge, but I thought it was very beautiful when I was a child.
Should we stop here and remember how great our childhood was?
I also noticed that all characters have the thinnest eyebrows, small noses and lips, and impossible long legs. However, colors are very simple, like simplest cel shading. Well, if I was a younger version of myself, of course I would give Adalia exclusive, super detailed suit and super wand. But now I want something simple, so I relied on the inner circle Senshi suits. I admit I feel this is the most difficult style of 10, or maybe I just didn't warm it up in the very beginning. And this is how my pretty soldier Adalia turned out in style of Sailor Moon. Next style is Lord Olympus webtoon, which I enjoy reading every Sunday. If you are not familiar with this webtoon, it is a modern retelling of love story of Hades and Persephone. And I am one of those people who as a child were fan of Greek mythology, so many thanks to the artist Rachel Smith for such a beautiful story. And I even show you here a little Persephone fan art that I drew before. I really like the vivid colors of all the characters of this webtoon and the way the artist depicts the facial expressions. The style is characterized by the absence of external lines, large eyes, head, and small cute arms and feet. I decided to make focus on these little hands, and I hope I managed the logic of the line art. Elsa had to tinker a little with finding a brush to imitate Lord Olympus style, and I ended up using the standard chalk brush from Clip Studio. For Adalia, I chose the image of blue demoness in toga. Perhaps she even could work in Underworld Corp. In any case, she would fit very well in the world of demons and gods, because my story essentially contains the same cast of heroes. And I really like how Adalia turned out in this style, hope you too. Needless to say, The Little Mermaid amazed me in my childhood when I first saw it. Original Hans Andersen story has not such a happy ending, but Disney gave us a bright, musical, beautiful story. And what a wonderful hair does I really have. I was so envy her in childhood. The classical Disney has thin, smooth lines without any hatching, simple plain coloring without shades. I found only little blushing on belly face in one screenshot. This style has a big eyes, pretty hands, simplified clothes. This is dictated by the complexity of manual animation, of course. The reason I chose classic above new 3D animation was the hardness to imitate 3D coloring. If I knew how to sculpt in 3D, I definitely would try that. Oh, I really wish I could see Adalia animated and even singing some classical Disney princess song. Please write in comments what Disney movie is your favorite and what character you like the most. Next one is Husband Hotel style. Before starting this artwork, I finally caught up and watched Helluva Boss pilot. Yay! That's why final art is more likely a mix between two shows about one universe. I drew Adalia in SD style, with more chubby hips, crazy eyeliners and green. And Elsa I wanted to give her red skin color, so she won't be a pale moth among other demons in this universe. And some toothpick as weapon, so she looks quite dangerous, doesn't she? I really enjoy this cartoony style with funny facial expressions, and I hope you like it too. Next style in line is style of Studio Ghibli and the dearly beloved director Mr. Miyazaki. The first movie I got to know from this studio was Howl Moon Castle. Well, I hear girls who did not fall in love with handsome Howl from first sight, or who wasn't amazed by the magical imagination of Miyazaki. The stunning animation was so different from the anime series that it was impossible not to fall in love with it. Interesting character design, amazing details, and what kind of backgrounds, really backgrounds worth killing for. On my first impressions, Miyazaki's style was primarily given by wide set eyes. That wasn't much typical to anime characters those days. And just like with the Disney animation, here we have simple lines, colors and shadows. Surely in animation shadows are made much more difficult, but in my case, in digital art, it's just one layer on multiply mode. Yay! I can't help myself, but I associate Miyazaki with the beautiful azure skies. So I decided to add it here as a background. Please tell me, what work of Studio Ghibli have you watched, and which is your favorite? The next style is the Gravity Falls. I have to admit that I never watched it, sorry. I choose as the principle that I really like the style. And being honest, I haven't watched any animated series for years already. Oh my, I need to fix it in nearest future, I think. Anyway, this style is very simple and it was great pleasure to work with. I decided that I would portray Adalia not as a teenager but as a child, as a Mabel for example. And I gave her a simple dress and charming smile, and I don't know why, but it is a mental heart in a bubble. And I really like the result and hope you too. The next style is great Tim Burton. I first got acquainted with his work when my friend invited me to watch The Nightmare Before Christmas. An unusual, gloomy atmosphere won my heart, and characters also evoke sympathy. Jack the Skeleton and Sally are my OTP, and what a beautiful soundtrack this movie has. If you are not singing "This is Halloween, this is Halloween," what is wrong with you? Tim Burton has produced many films and several animated films, but I decided to take his characters' sketches as a style reference. Most likely it would be much easier to draw Adalia in this style with ordinary pen. This shading on my computer was so boring. And Adalia came out as a gloomy young lady with thin hands, big eyes, disheveled hair, and very witchy mood. I hope you like it. Again, I confess, unfortunately I have not watched the series, even if I have Adventure Time t-shirt. Shame on me. Well, I usually don't know anything about the characters on the commissions, but this doesn't prevent me to draw them good. This is professional spirit, yes. However, I really like Adalia in this style. This funny plastic of hands and legs adds some wild dynamics, but simple shapes are surprisingly fun to draw. And I allowed myself to add some bright colors. Isn't she lovely and crazy in this style? Oh, I really like it. And here is final 10th style. And it's My Little Pony style. In my childhood, the pony had so much different style, trust me. Once my mom bought me the comic journal, and I even begged her to give me a pony toy as a birthday gift. And I mentioned it earlier that I drew hundreds of ponies until I saw Sailor Moon. I really like their design of Friendship is Magic series. No wonder it became so popular. Each character has its own personality and features. I made Adalia such a blue pony. At first I wanted to make her unicorn, but after I decided to add both horns. As your symbol, I depicted a plant, as a sign of your love to botany. And she looks great as pony. I really like this challenge and the result. I can say that I am proud of myself as an artist for being able to convey the features of each style. The hardest style ended up being Sailor Moon, I don't know why, But in fact, drawing was easy, but writing script and recording sound was the most difficult part. I am artist after all, artist who wants to be YouTube artist. In any case, if you have watched this to the end, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Also, I want to say special thank you for my patrons, for their great support. Thank you so much and see you next video.